Days passed, but the memory of that rainy street lingered in his mind. The city moved on as if nothing extraordinary had occurred, yet he knew otherwise. Every time rain fell, every time puddles reflected streetlights, he felt her presence again, soft and intangible. He returned to the cafe once, hoping to find answers. The street was quiet, the windows fogged, but the cafe itself was gone. In its place, only a small, ordinary building stood, unremarkable and unassuming. He realized some miracles are not meant to be held, only witnessed. The experience had changed him quietly but profoundly. He walked through the world with a sharper awareness, noticing small wonders in everyday life. The laughter of strangers, the shimmer of sunlight on wet pavement, the way shadows danced in the night, all felt charged with meaning. He never forgot the woman with the glowing cup, nor the weight of her words. She had taught him that fear and discomfort often precede revelation. That moments of shock could lead to understanding, and moments of loneliness could open doors to miracles. Sometimes, on rainy nights, he would feel a pull toward the streets he had walked before. And though he never saw her again, he knew she lingered somewhere between reality and possibility. A quiet reminder that life holds surprises, and that magic can appear in the most ordinary places if one only dares to notice. He smiled as the rain began to fall once more. And for the first time, he welcomed it, not as an inconvenience but as a promise. The streets glistened under the downpour, ordinary yet extraordinary. And he walked forward, carrying the miracle with him, forever changed, forever aware of the wonders hidden in plain sight. Rain poured down relentlessly, the narrow street in the city filled with puddles. The sound of raindrops hitting rooftops and pavement echoed loudly. People hurried to escape the rain. Brightly colored umbrellas tried to block the splashing water. A young man walked slowly along the sidewalk. His feet sank into the cold, wet puddles. The smell of wet earth and rain filled his nose. A chilly wind brushed against his face. It made the hairs on his skin stand on end without warning. He noticed a small cafe with dim, warm lights. The soft glow spilled out into the darkness. He stepped inside, feeling a sudden warmth. The sound of rain outside still echoed. But inside, the cafe was filled with quiet and calm. He sank into a wooden chair near the window. The glass was fogged with condensation from the warmth inside and the cold rain outside. Raindrops raced each other down the glass, merging and splitting in patterns that mesmerized him. Steam rose from the cup of coffee placed gently in front of him. The aroma of roasted beans and sugar filled the air. He wrapped his hands around the cup, feeling the comforting heat seep into his cold fingers. Outside, the rain intensified. Puddles deepened and small rivulets ran along the edges of the street. Reflections of neon signs shimmered and fractured across the water, dancing like restless spirits. He watched the chaotic beauty, feeling both captivated and uneasy. A sudden flicker of movement caught his attention. Through the rain, a figure appeared at the far end of the street. It was a woman, completely drenched, her clothes clinging to her form. She walked slowly, almost deliberately, toward the cafe. Her face was hidden beneath a soaked hood. The air around her seemed to shimmer with an almost unnatural stillness, as though the rain paused for her passage. His heart rate quickened. Something about her presence felt different, off, but magnetic. He wanted to look away, to focus on his coffee, but curiosity held him. She stopped just outside the window and raised her head slightly. Rain streaked down her cheeks like tears, though she did not cry. Then she knocked softly on the cafe door. The barista glanced at the young man and then opened the door. She stepped inside silently. The warmth of the cafe enveloped her, but she did not shake off the rain. Instead, water dripped slowly from her hair, landing in small pools on the wooden floor. Every eye in the cafe, though few, seemed to follow her silently. Her movements were deliberate, almost ritualistic, yet graceful. The young man felt a shiver run down his spine. Her presence was unsettling, yet it drew him in. She approached the counter, and for a moment, the world outside ceased to exist in his mind. Her voice, soft but resonant, spoke to the barista. He could not hear the words, but the way the barista nodded, almost reverently, made him uneasy. Then she turned slowly. Her gaze swept the room like a brush over canvas. It landed on him. He felt a sudden tightness in his chest, as though the air itself had thickened. Time seemed to stretch. Seconds dragged into minutes. The rain outside fell harder, yet inside, a strange calm persisted. The barista placed a small, steaming cup in front of the woman. She picked it up delicately, fingers barely touching the surface. The young man noticed the liquid shimmer strangely in the light. It reflected colors that should not exist in a simple cafe, hues he could not name. She lifted the cup to her lips, sipped lightly, and then set it down again. Her eyes met his once more, and he could not look away. Then she began to speak. Her voice, though soft, seemed to echo strangely, carrying weight beyond words. "You are here because you were meant to see this," she said. The young man blinked, unsure whether she spoke to him or someone else entirely. The words felt like a key turning in a lock deep within his mind. The room seemed to grow colder, despite the warmth of the cafe. Outside, the rain began to slow. The street shimmered with residual water, reflecting neon lights and empty shadows. The woman continued, her voice calm yet commanding. "You have walked through the storm, yet you fear what you cannot see. Miracles often appear where discomfort resides." He felt a sudden pull, as though invisible threads tugged him closer to her. Then the unexpected happened. The lights in the cafe flickered once, twice, and then went out completely. The room was bathed in darkness, broken only by occasional flashes of lightning outside. Gasps echoed softly, and the scent of wet stone and earth crept in through the open door. The young man's heart pounded in his ears. He tried to speak, to ask her who she was, but his voice faltered. She stepped toward him. With each step, the darkness seemed to bend and twist around her. He could see her features now, pale and ethereal, yet distinctly human. Her eyes glowed faintly, reflecting the lightning outside. They held a depth of understanding that unsettled him. Then, suddenly, a soft light emerged in her hands. It was not from a lamp, nor a candle, but from the very air itself. The glow illuminated the entire cafe, revealing shadows that had seemed to dance independently. The woman extended her hand toward him. "Trust what you cannot explain," she said. The young man reached out, hesitant yet compelled. The moment his fingers brushed hers, warmth surged through his body. Images flashed in his mind. Streets submerged in rain, moments of fear, whispers of unseen beings, and fragments of memories he had long forgotten. He stumbled back, breathing heavily, but she held his gaze. Then the cafe door opened with a creak. A blast of wind and rain swept in. The woman vanished, leaving only a lingering warmth and the faint scent of jasmine. The young man looked around, but no one else seemed to notice anything unusual. The barista returned to the counter as if nothing had happened, polishing a cup casually. He stepped outside. The rain had stopped completely. The street glistened with reflection, every puddle a perfect mirror. He saw his own reflection, but it shimmered strangely, almost as if the water itself had altered reality. Then he noticed something written on the wet pavement, a single word in water droplets, forming letters he did not recognize at first. Miracle. A chill ran down his spine. The street was empty now, eerily quiet. Yet he felt watched, as though the city itself had changed in his absence. The neon lights flickered faintly, revealing shadows that moved just beyond his vision. He took a deep breath and continued walking, unsure whether he had experienced reality or something beyond it. With each step, memories of the woman haunted him. Her voice, the glow, the unexplainable warmth, all replayed in his mind. He felt transformed, as if the storm and her presence had opened a door in his perception. The street, once ordinary and mundane, now held secrets in every puddle, every reflection, every raindrop. He did not know if he would ever return to the cafe. Perhaps it did not exist in the same way anymore. Perhaps it was always meant to appear only in moments of need, in moments when the impossible brushed against reality. And as he disappeared into the misty glow of the city streets, he felt a strange certainty. Miracles sometimes appear in the most uncomfortable, shocking, and unexpected moments. And some streets, soaked in rain, carry them waiting for those willing to see. The young man did not stop walking. He could feel the world shifting subtly with each step. Shadows lingered, and reflections held whispers of the unknown. But he no longer feared them. He had walked through the storm and touched something that defied explanation. The rainy street had given him a glimpse beyond the ordinary. And somewhere, just out of sight, the echo of her presence remained. Not frightening, but undeniably real. A reminder that miracles exist where the discomfort and the unknown meet. Where rain falls heavily and ordinary life pauses. The young man smiled faintly, feeling the pulse of the city around him. Every puddle reflected a fragment of wonder, and every wet street lamp glimmered like a beacon. He did not understand everything. Perhaps he never would. But he knew one thing: his life had changed forever. The rainy street had offered him something impossible, shocking, and unforgettable. And he would carry that memory, that miracle, for the rest of his days. Days passed, but the memory of that rainy street lingered in his mind. The city moved on as if nothing extraordinary had occurred, yet he knew otherwise. Every time rain fell, every time puddles reflected streetlights, he felt her presence again, soft and intangible. He returned to the cafe once, hoping to find answers. The street was quiet, the windows fogged, but the cafe itself was gone. In its place, only a small, ordinary building stood, unremarkable and unassuming. He realized some miracles are not meant to be held, only witnessed. The experience had changed him quietly but profoundly. He walked through the world with a sharper awareness, noticing small wonders in everyday life. The laughter of strangers, the shimmer of sunlight on wet pavement, the way shadows danced in the night, all felt charged with meaning. He never forgot the woman with the glowing cup, nor the weight of her words. She had taught him that fear and discomfort often precede revelation. That moments of shock could lead to understanding, and moments of loneliness could open doors to miracles. Sometimes, on rainy nights, he would feel a pull toward the streets he had walked before, and though he never saw her again, he knew she lingered somewhere between reality and possibility. A quiet reminder that life holds surprises, and that magic can appear in the most ordinary places if one only dares to notice. He smiled as the rain began to fall once more. And for the first time, he welcomed it, not as an inconvenience but as a promise. The streets glistened under the downpour, ordinary yet extraordinary. And he walked forward, carrying the miracle with him, forever changed, forever aware of the wonders hidden in plain sight.